Salute, salute, salute. So, this is boxing nocturnal thoughts. And right now I'm thinking about Shakur Stevenson missing weight on the way in, to my surprise. Came in at like 131.6. Now a video just loaded, but I made it the other night, and I was talking about, some of the pitfalls, some of the obstacles and hurdles that can be on the road to a homecoming fight. And I said, Shakur Stevenson is a cerebral, mentally tough, mental fortitude, smart, and surrounded by some good people. So I really didn't see him stepping into any traps on his homecoming. But I know that you can't plan for everything, and certain things just don't fit. Like, you can't force an oval shape to fit inside of a circle, or you can't force a circle inside of a square. You know what I'm saying? And listening to Shakur Stevenson doing the post interview after the weigh-in, he was just saying that he couldn't make the weight. He tried everything in his power, and his body just wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Now, you see stretch marks all on his shoulders. He's a big dude. Conceição made the weight. He's taller than Shakur Stevenson, but he's a lean dude, smaller, tight, different muscle tone on his bone, different bone structure and everything. Shakur Stevenson, really, to me, when I look at his build up and I can compare it to mine or whatever, I can see he's the type of person that could bulk up easily. And then when he get a little older too, he can bulk up, and then he'll be able to lean back down and show a little bit more cut and definition. But he's not like a rip dude. He got a different type of a genetics, and he's not going to be ripped down to the bone, diced to the socks. He's always going to have somewhat of a smooth look to him. But he definitely, just because it don't look, muscle and being cut and being striated and vascular can be deceiving when it comes to people perceiving power and conditioning and strength and athleticism. You just never know based on what it looked like on the outside. You can look fit and be shit. You can look like trash and have a tank full of gas. It just depends on the person and the spirit and the heart and the genetics and the kahunas and everything. You know what I'm saying? But Shakur Stevenson, I do not like Shakur Stevenson losing his belts on the scale and then going up to 135. What would have been in the perfect world for me is if he would have made this suck down by any means necessary. Other than like really risking your health and putting yourself in a detrimental situation where you definitely gonna lose because you didn't weaken your body that much. I think he just didn't want to force it. He looked like he did try to make the weight. He wasn't overblown. It was a point 0.6, a pound 0.6. But man, you can do a lot of dangerous things to your body if you strip away tú much. You can take too many things, too many minerals, too much liquid off the brain. You could really put yourself in some very, very physical, dangerous points with the whole cut if it's genetically not where you're supposed to be. But what I'm saying is, when I look at Shakur Stevenson's career, first of all, he has to get past Robinson Conceição, which is not going to be an easy task because Robinson Conceição is a definite threat, and he's in shape and he's ready to go. He's fired up, and sometimes you could be looking like food to a guy like that when you don't make the weight. He can be seeing a weakness and a vulnerability. He can see a crack. He can see where you might not be as dedicated, or you didn't work as hard, or you're not as professional. Because this man had to travel. He had to travel and make weight. You in your hometown. So I expect Shakur Stevenson to get past Robinson Conceição, but I think this is going to make it. But it depends, you know. If he didn't make the weight, but he still, to a certain extent, played it safe, where he's still going to feel strong. He's going to rehydrate big. I mean, he rehydrates big. You know what I'm saying? So when he comes in fully rehydrated and get all of his strength back, and he feels good and comfortable, and he can get past Robinson Conceição, and then he goes up to 135. Just in my opinion, the way I'm looking at it right off the rip, which I can change my opinion later on, but right now I'm looking at it and I'm saying this could possibly put his 135 career into sort of a limbo. There's a lot of good people out there in 135 for him to fight, but as a champion, I like for boxing to be as clean as possible. It's so messy. I like to see these divisions get cleaned up, tightened up, unified, and undisputed. You know what I'm saying? I would have loved to see him undispute that division and then reign supreme. But if he physically couldn't do it and he goes into 135 right now is a little messy for me. It's a lot of people out there that's just kind of floating around and really not grounded to anything. You know what I'm saying? It's like they can't make up their mind. They 135 one day, 140 the next day. You know, it's just, you know, we got Devin Haney that's undisputed. You know, but he's looking like he might move out of that division soon. Gervonta Tank Davis, he moves around weight classes. Ryan Garcia, you never know what he's going to do. Teofimo Lopez, he done made his exit. He's at 140. So Shakur Stevenson, he can go to 135 and fight some good fights, but I just kind of see it kind of putting his career into a little bit more of a boxing limbo if he's not getting fights with champions, because those guys aren't really fighting each other, and now he comes into the mix. I don't see them jumping in there trying to fight him no time soon either. So we have to see how it plays out. I can see some good fights in his future, but I just think him going into 135, losing his championships on the scale. I'd rather he had won the fight, kept his belts, and then made a announcement that, you know, this was the last time I'm going to make my body drop down to this weight, and then, you know what I'm saying, dispatch his belts and then go up to 135 that way. And to me, I would still be looking at him as a champion mentality or a champion mind state from my perspective. Him losing the belts on the scale, first it just put me right in the mind state of Benavidez. But there's been a lot of champions that, you know, lost on the scales. It's not a big deal, but to me, I don't like the possibilities and the potential of that kind of slingshotting you into a boxing limbo, because even though a lot of people are going to be very forgiving, it's still going to be somewhat of a fly in the ointment. Like, you know, you lost your belts on the scale. You know what I mean? You didn't clean up the division. You lost your belts on the scale. You go into 135. It's going to be an easy way for people to kind of, you know, just bounce you around like a pinball, to where you fight over here, you might grab a belt over here, you become a champion, but it's just going to make it that much harder for you to, you know, become undisputed at 135. It took Devin Haney a whole lot of chess playing to become champion, and the chips kind of just fell in his favor with the Cambosos beating Teofimo Lopez. But I mean, I wanted to see Shakur Stevenson become undisputed. I know that was going to be a stretch, but at the same time, I didn't want to see him lose his belts on the scale. I'd rather see him just vacated his belts after a victory, you know, after a tough weight loss, tough cut, and then, you know, making a grand announcement like, I'm going to 135 with his belts. You know what I'm saying? That's my thoughts on it. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Salute, salute, salute. Bow.